Ever imagined a duel where the clashing swords are held by high society ladies? And they're topless? Greetings everyone. Today, we're not just talking about any duelists. We're talking about women of high rank, such as princesses and countesses, who approach the dueling grounds with courage, eschewing the typical attire of their status. We'll uncover the reasons behind this extraordinary event, the societal norms of the time, and the surprising outcome that followed. If you find this video interesting, please support us by hitting the like button. Now, let's get started. When one thinks of a duel, the image that comes to mind for many people is that of a fast-paced shootout in a Western movie, where two men face each other and put their lives on the line in a serious fight. However, our focus is on an unusual duel. Not between the expected gentlemen of history, but between two noblewomen. Adding to the surprise, they participated in the duel without their upper garments. It is quite unexpected to find that not only did female aristocrats engage in duels, which were a matter of bloodline and honor, but they also did so topless. What was the reason for the duel, and how did they fight? And why are they naked? The story takes place in 19th century Europe. First, let us introduce the heroine of the duel, Pauline von Metternich. A woman renowned in social circles. She was an Austrian noblewoman, born in Vienna in 1836, who at the age of 26 married Prince Richard von Metternich, a diplomat and her uncle's son. After their marriage, Pauline traveled throughout Europe as a diplomat's wife, and was very active socially in the royal palaces and courts of various countries, playing an important international role during the Franco-Prussian War of the 1870s, including several years in France, where she assisted the Empress of France in her escape. As she traveled throughout Europe, she became a bridge builder, passing new information and culture from country to country. She also helped to popularize among aristocratic women the pleasures previously reserved for men, such as skating and smoking cigars. It seems that not only was she active internationally, but she was also instrumental in expanding women's rights. She also supported the development of art and culture, backing up composers such as Wagner and Liszt. Moreover, she had a fairly happy family life despite the fact that her husband, the prince, had affairs with a number of women. One can imagine that she was a strong and wise woman. One might wonder what compelled her to engage in a duel. The notable incident unfolded during the summer of 1892. With Pauline in her mid-50s, she was involved in organizing the Vienna Music and Theatre Exposition. The exposition was a major musical event, and Pauline invested considerable effort into its planning. This incident unfolded amidst the preparations for the event. A dispute escalated between two women, culminating in the decision to duel. The name of the other woman, who fought with Pauline, was Countess Anastasia Kielmansegg, who was a youthful 20 years old, in contrast to the more mature Pauline. What could possibly prompt a duel between two aristocratic women, with a notable age difference, in the midst of organizing such a grand event? Was there a serious problem that led to a duel? Details of the duel's origins are scarce, though speculation suggests a disagreement over exhibit placements. However, it was between two proud women of different ages. This could be viewed as another chapter in the age-old saga of conflicts among women of high society. Still, a big fight breaking out between two celebrity women is exactly the kind of story that the media would jump on today. In 19th century Austria, the incident quickly garnered media attention, making headlines even in women's magazines. The article noted that Anastasia was young and ambitious, and she was seen as Pauline's rival in social circles. There was speculation that Anastasia might supplant Pauline, seizing her role and status. And the method chosen to settle this particular dispute was, indeed, a duel. At that time, formal duels were not mere fights or brawls, but were considered a respectable means of settling disputes. Consequently, there were numerous stringent rules governing the conduct of duels. The rules included being fair, first exhausting negotiations without violence, ensuring that anyone injured in a fight would receive immediate medical attention, and minimizing damage and death. Now, let me further explain the specific steps leading up to the duel. First, the one offering the duel would disclose the cause of the dispute. saying that he or she had been insulted or defamed. The challenged party had to choose issue a public apology, offer compensation to avoid the duel, or, confident in their righteousness, accept the challenge. If a duel is chosen, then a number of preparations must be made. First, the location of the duel must be determined. The challenger could propose a preferred location, while the challenged had the right to object and propose an alternative. It certainly seems to be a fair rule. Incidentally, the most popular places for dueling were those that were not so conspicuous. It was not a place where onlookers would gather and enjoy themselves, but a place where solemnity would prevail. In addition, dueling was considered illegal in many countries at that time, and there was a possibility of arrest. So a secluded place was chosen. Dueling also required the presence of witnesses, who had to be found. Each of the two duelists was to bring a weapon of his choice, and at least one companion, called a second. And at this time, in the duel between Pauline and Anastasia, all the people involved, including weapons and seconds, were unified as women. Since the fighters were women, it is likely that the people around them were also all women. After the venue for the duel was decided and the witnesses gathered, it seemed that the fight was about to begin. But there was still a way to avoid the duel. Just before the swords are drawn, and the duel begins, the seconds of both fighters get together and hold final negotiations to see if it is really possible to avoid the fight. As a result, if either one of them stopped the duel and walked away from the scene, the one who remained would be declared the winner, and the one who walked away would be branded a coward. Being labeled a coward in this era of honor could mean not just a figurative stab in the back, but also the potential loss of one's reputation and social standing. So, if you were challenged to a duel, you were faced with a stark choice. Fight for your life or lose your honor, which was your social life. They selected a location on the outskirts of Vaduz, the capital of Liechtenstein, as their battleground. Liechtenstein, although adjacent to Austria, was an independent and self-governing country. Outside the reach of Austrian law, duels were illegal in Austria, prompting the choice of a neighboring country for the duel to avoid legal repercussions. It was a very calm decision. They did not start the fight casually, but prepared for the duel calmly and systematically. The women who would be witnesses were also decided. Pauline was seconded by Princess Schwarzenberg, and Anastasia by Countess Kinsky. Both are women of nobility and status. The attending physician, Baroness Lubinska, was a Polish noblewoman with a medical degree, a rarity in late 19th century Europe. Undoubtedly, she was a valuable asset to Pauline, a formidable socialite who made certain to have a female physician present for the duel. And the weapon used in the duel was a sword called a rapier. Unlike the long, slender swords used in modern fencing, the rapier was a sharp, double-edged weapon intended for rapid thrusts in combat. This sword was often used by the nobility as a dueling weapon. Thus, a duel between two women, carefully prepared and all serious. As this was indeed a rare occurrence, rumors spread beyond Austria to other countries. In fact, the London newspaper, Pall Mall Gazette, and the American newspaper, Los Angeles Times, wrote about their duel. Now, let us take a look at their fateful duel. Based on what these newspapers wrote about it, the two women stood 20 paces apart in the plaza, ready for the duel to commence. Once the fight begins, they should no longer run away. Fleeing the duel would result in being declared the loser and branded a coward. A newspaper article described the battle this way: "It was a genuine contest of skill, devoid of hair-pulling or scratching," marking it as a formal and earnest duel rather than a mere scuffle. In the first and second rounds, neither Pauline nor Anastasia was able to hurt the other, so they fought to a draw. Then, in the third round, Pauline suffered a small wound to her nose, and Anastasia suffered a wound to her arm. Apparently, both fighters settled with minor injuries. Thus, the victor of the duel remains unknown. However, according to the article, after the duel was over, the girls hugged, kissed, and made up. As a result of the real fight, neither was a coward, their honor was preserved, and neither was seriously injured. The duel's conclusion allowed for the resolution of any prior animosity, paving the way for reconciliation. And amidst the gravity of their duel, which almost makes one forget, there remains an important detail yet to be addressed in this story. In this duel, notably, the two were topless. Why, you may be thinking, were they topless in such a serious and extreme fight? Actually, there was a reason why they fought topless. It was Baroness Lubinska who instructed the two to take off their clothes. Indeed, she was the doctor who oversaw the medical aspects of the duel. Lubinska understood that injuries could become infected if bacteria entered the wound. Hence, she surmised that fighting in dirty clothing could increase the risk of infection should the fabric enter the wound. That is why she advised Pauline and Anastasia to duel without their upper garments to reduce the risk of infection. At a time when medical care was not yet fully developed, the latest precautions had to be taken to prevent injuries and infections. The removal of upper garments during the duel was a precaution to prevent serious infection in the event of an injury. Choosing only women as witnesses was likely a deliberate decision, made in light of the duel's distinctive circumstances. The women evidently deliberated over every detail to avoid causing significant physical or psychological harm. This illustrates their comprehensive approach to the concept of dueling. Of course, resolving a dispute through violence is not a good thing. Nevertheless, their duel seemed to embody fairness, akin to a sports match. Today, there is a tendency to avoid direct confrontation with people and many cases of escalating slander on social networking sites. One wonders what Pauline would make of our contemporary methods of conflict resolution. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insightful content. Take care and see you in the next video. Goodbye.